My name's Chloe Shih. I am born and raised in LA County, moved to New York for school, and reside in San Francisco working in tech. I am a proud 1.5 gen Taiwanese-American, and I grew up loving music and the arts and expression. So I've been really loving singing and videography and anything in Disney and musicals. So anything about those, I super love. I currently am a product manager in tech. I work in the creator space and have worked through a lot of tech companies. So yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm from this place called the 626 area code. And if you didn't know, the 626 has the largest Asian population in the United States. So this is where boba milk tea came from. I mean, it came from Taiwan, but in the US, it is really well known in the 626. And we have some of the best Asian restaurants in the US, especially for Taiwanese food. And so a lot of the places that we grew up going to are really just like small businesses owned by first generation immigrants, people's parents, people's families, and they bring a ton of cultural ethnic food. And we've just grew up eating that. So if anyone's from the 626 and you know, they grew up with some of the best Asian food and they might have higher standards going to other states. Yeah. So the biggest thing is that when we grew up as Asians, we looked at mass media for representation. We looked at whether or not we can be a doctor or a lawyer or a CEO or even a superhero or a musician. And I don't think a lot of us saw many roles with our faces on it. And if we grew up watching that, it kind of affects our generation's dreams and aspirations. It tells us what we can or cannot do. So then when moving forward, maybe 10, 20 years later, it's still really hard to get that Asian representation on the big screens. But what we do have control over is all the little screens. So then when we have creators who are interested in going through artistic expression and who have something to show creatively that people can get really behind and people can love and people can connect bridges with or bridge like everyone's different cultures with, then that's the power of social media. Because no longer do you have to go through a Hollywood agency and be blessed by like the agent world and you know, mainstream Hollywood and get on their rosters and then make it to the interview and then be selected by the director or the producer. You just go straight to your camera to create your own story and you publish it online to your own community. And so I feel like social media has given a lot of people who didn't have those connections a way to share their voice. And it has shaped the next generation for sure. Like I think it is in millennials and Gen Z that we're starting to see the shift in I no longer want to do something that is stable, that is safe, that is just to bring money to the table. And that's really important. But there's like a whole new element of, is this creatively fulfilling? Will this change history? Will this help my future and my children and the next generations? And I think that's really powerful. Yeah. YouTube was the first time that I saw Asians on my screen that everyone else was watching too. And I didn't see that in TV shows growing up. So I didn't watch a lot of American shows growing up. I really just like stuck to dramas from Korea or China or Taiwan or Japan. I watched anime. And I think that really shaped my taste in storylines. So then actually I don't know a lot of references from my generation of like a more mainstream, I guess, movies or cartoons, which kind of sucks during trivia night, so I never go. So I'm definitely all about subcultures. But it was a dream of mine 10 years ago when I saw like the Wong Fu production, the Ryan Higas, the Kev Jumbas, all the different musicians. Like there are a ton of musicians. I didn't even know that I could potentially sing one day, which eventually I did start singing. And when I saw them get those viewership on YouTube, because YouTube was huge in my high school days, I was like, oh my God, what a dream. One day, if I can just create videos like that, I'd just be so happy. Like I don't even need any formal agency or any formal company to this. I don't need to go audition for an entertainment team. I just got to express myself the way I want and share it with my friends and family. And then it wasn't until this last year that I finally had like the headspace to just sit down and put aside time outside of work, because work is also very stressful and there's a lot of stuff to do. And it's really hard to have like a hobby outside of work too. But after I was able to like really center myself, find who I am, find the things that I love, and stop doing the things that I probably don't vibe with as much, then I was like, I need to prioritize my self-expression. Otherwise, I feel like I'm always waiting. I'm waiting for a break. I'm waiting for a moment, but that moment won't ever come unless I start to turn on the mic and turn on the video today. And then I finally did it a year ago. And I'm really small, honestly, but I'm just really happy for every single comment, every single view, and every single DM that I get from my friends. And they're like, girl, you're killing it. I love it. I love how you do this. And I'm not professional, but to see someone else who's not professional still try, that still gives them their own confidence to go for that lesson, to go do their art, to go stream, or to go write that poem. And I think at the individual level, it's really healing. Actually, they had no idea what I did in tech. Like they just didn't understand tech. Like what does it mean? Because I think growing up, we looked at google.com, but we looked at it as a website, not a company. So then to have like that concept of these are actual companies where employees work and build this every day, it just didn't occur to us because we thought the world was small business owners that owned restaurants and like small shops, and then like the doctor, lawyer, and engineer. And then my parents did force me to go through the pre-med program, and it was awful. And I did go through pretty much all of the prereqs, and it took me a long time to like have that conversation to be like, I don't want to do this. This is what you want to do. And it was a struggle. Like I think I kind of like got disowned for a little bit because they really believe that we came here to the United States to have a better life. And you're not taking advantage of that, but also that I think this is something that's a little bit probably more not so happy. But I think that the narrative that they taught me growing up, which still affects me to this day, which pains me a lot to hear, is like, Chloe, they say, Chloe, you need to become a doctor, or actually they just wanted me to be a doctor. You need to become a doctor because unfortunately, you're a nobody and I'm a nobody. And we came to America and we don't have any relationships. We have no connections. We can't bring you to do anything. And I'm sorry. But because of that, you have to work 10 times harder in any single discipline, in any single industry. And if you become a medical doctor, then you'll have that one step forward, and you'll probably bring your family and your generation to be able to be somewhere. And right now, all we can do in this generation is to be small business owners. So that needs to be on you. That's why you need to be a doctor. And hearing that, I'm like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. And so I think it wasn't that they, forced this upon me and my siblings or like all the kids around me, but I think that they felt they had no choice and they want us to live well, but they didn't know what options there were because they don't have friends or connections or people in diverse positions that can make a living and still be happy and still like align with their own strengths, with their own value, with their joy. Yeah. So then when I told them I don't want to do medicine, I wanted to do engineering. Even that, they were like, why would you do engineering when you could be a doctor? So I had to prove to them that I could sustain a GPA to be an engineer. And then I didn't pursue an engineering path with my career. I thought I was more people oriented, in the engineering school. And then I went into industry in non-technical positions. And then they just like never understood what I did. But as long as, I think at some point, I just became financially independent from my parents. And when they saw that, they were really cool with it because I also have 2 younger brothers that they needed to like take care of. And then actually, you know what really helped my parents? They started watching YouTubers in Taiwan, like English speaking YouTubers in Taiwan. And they're like, what? People do this? And they started loving it. And then they thought it was really cute. And then they also saw that you can make some money off of it. But this is only in the last year because they didn't understand this like 5 years ago. So then they're like, Chloe, you should do the YouTube, make the money. like teach Chinese or something. And I'm like, oh my God, that's not exactly how it goes, but I'm glad you like this stuff anyways. And it's really cute that they get excited about these smaller creators who are like bridging culture, because they never got to see people experience their hometown in like a different way that's really positive. And then to see that, they kind of go back into their childhoods and they're like, oh yeah, that's right, that is Taiwan. So when they see it, they're really cute. Actually, slight tangent, they're fans of certain YouTube creators in Taiwan. And I just happened to meet some of them here. And then I went up to them and I was like, oh my God, I know you're a big YouTuber. My mom loves you. Can I take a picture with you? And I was sending it back to my mom and she like screamed. And so I think that they're starting to find these like niche subculture creators who build communities off of really, really kind of authentic, really unfiltered ways, or really unfiltered like vibes. They just enjoy that a lot more than what they see on mainstream television. I don't even think we watch any television anymore. Yeah. I come to Taiwan a lot to reflect on my life and recenter myself, because it's kind of my roots. I was born and raised in LA County, but then I went back to Taiwan 6 months at a time, like in my early childhood. And I went to like school here, and I hung out with my grandma a lot, and all my aunts and my extended family are here, and they've always treated me extremely well. So I see Taiwan as like this beautiful place that I've grown up in as well. And actually the way that it's affected me is like, in college, I joined a lot of student organizations that were Taiwanese-American. So being close to that culture is amazing. But I think where it really became more of a more life-changing decision or situation or circumstance was when I was really reflecting on my future in my career path. I had gone through some really tough moments in my career where I had undoubtedly been the highest performing contributor on the team, undoubtedly. Like I contributed 4 times more than anyone else. I've been there longer than anyone. And the one person who wasn't female, who wasn't BIPOC, who didn't stay there for more than 6 months got promoted while all of us did not. And to be in companies where time and time again, I just see a line of, I'm sorry, but it is like a line of white men. It makes me feel that I don't belong. And there was a stat that came out on Ascend, which is a Pan-Asian professional organization. They came out with this research article, I think several years ago, where they checked people based on their races and their gender over the course of 7 years. And they found that Asian Americans make the largest racial cohort of ICs, of like employees, but not in executive ranks. And it's crazy because we do the hard work and we do the things that go on the paper, the things that go into the computers, the things that go in the code, the things that go in the designs and the copy, but we don't get the credit for it. And because I didn't get to see that, I really questioned, should I still stay in Silicon Valley? Is there a world for me to become an executive, become a leader, become a founder? Because, and maybe there is, but then I would have to constantly climb that corporate ladder and play that game of politics and try to always kiss up to whoever is on the hiring or on the promotion team. And that seems like sure, I could do that. I can spend the next 10, 20 years doing that and rise up and then finally be on a headline or something. But why would I want to spend 10 to 20 years of my energy and my life to get a title that I think isn't fairly given out? And so why do I need someone else's validation, a company's, a corporation's validation, a PR company's validation that I am a leader in this industry when I know that I can be already? So then I think I really struggled with that path. Like I was struggling, maybe I should go back to Asia because, I look really young. I'm older than I actually look. Definitely. Everyone's like, oh, did you just graduate? I get carded all the time, by the way. If you ever take me to the bar, you won't get carded. I'll get carded. But I was born this way. I look so young. My voice is really, really young too. And I've tried all kinds of tactics to look older, to be more mature, but I've never been taken seriously from like the first, minute that I walk into a meeting room. And so because of that, I thought maybe this path isn't meant for me because I don't look like what you would expect a leader to look like. So then I went back to Asia, I think 2 years ago, just to like walk around, roam around, write, reflect, and see if this is a life. Maybe moving back is the life that I want to have. But also moving back to Asia, it's not all roses and sunshine. It is a different culture of work, and I have a romanticized view of Asia. I don't work here. I don't understand the government. I don't understand the politics. The education system is totally different. And so we're kind of stuck between both worlds where I may not have the right the right pieces to play well in America, but I also don't have the fundamentals, nor am I good enough at Chinese to do super well here. But then I think the 1.5 gen experience is paving your own path, is knowing that there isn't really a path that has already been outlined for you that you can just walk the stepping stones of. But there are people, but what you can do is you can customize, you can pick and choose. It's like building your own, I don't know, poke bowl. You can pick and choose whatever you want to eat. And you don't have to get the preset menu. And maybe you can build your own, you can design your own path, design your own life. And I think accepting that that is a pro and not a con took me a long time. I was like, I kind of resented myself. I resented my position. I was like, had I just lived and grew up in Taiwan, that would have been fine. I could have done so much better. But I can't say that either. You never know. So then I think a healthier way for me to accept and understand is I have the best of both worlds and I can pick and choose. And I have to define my own story and I have to use my own platforms. And maybe that'll be harder than if someone gave me a platform that I can just like stand on. But at least I'll have my own story of creating and building. And then that way I can be Chloe the builder. I can be Chloe the creator. I can be Chloe the leader instead of whatever else, whatever alternative. Yeah. But getting my mindset to that point was like not easy. It's a lot of like hyping myself up all the time when I fail, you know? It's like, Chloe, you rock, keep going. Don't worry about the haters. Yeah. I work for a Chinese company, you know, and I had to take a moment to stop and check my headspace and realize that I'm not going to be as high performing these months just because of the state of America. And I had to tell my manager, who was based in Beijing, like, I need to take some time away, and I need some forgiveness. I need some space to work on this, to work on talking about these issues within my team in the Bay Area, because I'm based in the Bay. And he's from Beijing. He doesn't quite understand, even though he's Asian, he's Chinese, he doesn't quite understand what it's like being Asian in America. So it took me a long time to break it down for him to like understand that there is there's a huge part of your headspace that's being, an energy that's being taken away by the news. And so I've been trying to be as vocal as possible within my own abilities, whether it's like through work, whether it's through LinkedIn, putting together a resource guide, doing a video on YouTube, having these conversations. And it's not like, even though I'm in Taiwan, a lot of people who are from the Bay Area, who are Taiwanese or who just love Taiwan, a lot of them are actually here. So we have a huge expat group where a lot of people are still fighting the fight from here. They're taking really early morning calls to make sure that they hit US time zones. And it's just so interesting to see the types of people who are here that are trying to donate, are trying to gather their friends in the VC space or in the tech leadership space or in media to make sure that all the beats are hit. Like I have friends who are in the VC space who are going to other VCs and they're like, hey man, we've been friends. We've worked together for 20 years before. Can you and your company stand up and write a checkbook take out a check from your checkbook, invite out 10K, 50K, 100K. Like, you guys make so much money. You have so many people who are of Asian descent at your companies. Let's protect them and let's take a stance. And they're having those meetings, and those meetings are really difficult to have because, working with companies, it's not really easy to make a super public stance. Oftentimes tech companies, VC space, they don't want to. It's really dicey and it's a lot of work. And so they're doing that. They're also making sure that here in Taiwan, we host like movie nights to talk about, to like host Minori, which won so many awards. And we want people all over the globe to understand Asian American experience, not just Asians in America, but our roots too, so that they can send support. Because that's what we have. We may not have a lot of family in America, but we have family all over the world. And we need to cross those global boundaries to realize that there is an identity, there's a culture, there's an experience beyond myself that I need to contribute to. And also, as an expat here in Taiwan, it's not like I'm always thinking about America too. Actually, a few weeks ago, we had the biggest train accident in Taiwan on the Taroko Mountain, and that killed over 50 people. And as expats, we don't contribute that much to the government. A lot of foreigners come to these Asian countries and they don't pay taxes. They don't contribute to the education system, to the economy as much, besides like purchasing food and drinks and going to clubs and bars. But we were able to come up with a fundraiser, bring in all kinds of expats and all kinds of local leaders and raise like over $70,000 to pay for damages or to pay for, to help with the government ease the financial burden of fixing the train systems and to help the mental support for the families that have lost their members. And so it really goes both ways. I think that fighting the fight for, it's not just, oh, you see Asian Americans not do well. We have to do it for everyone who is in the minority and everyone who is suffering that's around you. And only when you stand up for those who need support, those who are suffering, those who don't maybe have a voice, or those who may get better just from one more helping hand, then that's when we start to feel that we are a community in America. We are a community in this neighborhood or in Taiwan or all over the world. And I feel that adopting that mindset has been the brightest thing of this fight. Yeah, it's not just an Asian fight. It's really all of us. If you're interested in checking out my work, I am Colors of Chloe on YouTube and Twitch, and then I'm the Chloe Bro on Instagram. I talk about topics in life, relationships, and tech career. And then recently, I've launched a live interview series interviewing all kinds of creators, founders, leaders, and artists about fun and deep questions about the behind the scenes of their lives. So check that out if you're interested in hearing people's life stories and why they became who they are today. So that's pretty much me. And I also, I guess, if you're interested, I just bought gear to do IRL streaming. So I wanted to go around Taiwan and then just like stream and show people Taiwan and just have a good time. Just bring some joy to your day. That's it.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.